Dear son or daughter, I know we never met. I never saw your first breath or take your first step. I was so young, me and your mom, we got along, but we just weren't ready. Regrets, there's been many, heavy on my shoulders. You'll be 5 this October, but it just gets colder. Every year I don't know ya. We picked out names, but we were so afraid. My heart still aches, I do whatever it takes. If I could go back in time and make a change, I would. If I could bring you back to life, erase the pain, I would. If I could pray you back tonight with no delay, I would. I'll meet you up in heaven, back together for good.
I was never unplanned. It was not your plan for me. I was never unplanned. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I was never unplanned. I never left your hands, never left your plan. Was never unplanned. I never left your hands.
Mom and Dad, I understand, but I wish I had the chance. I'll never feel the touch of hands or ever walk across the sand. I know I wasn't planned, but if you saw the way I dance, I would've let it bend, but I'll never know romance. If born, I would've changed the world. If born, I've been your baby girl. If born, you would've seen me twirl brown eyes and golden curls. And guess what? I still love you. Let it go. I still
I
love
was
you.
never unplanned. It was not your plan for me. I was never unplanned. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I was never unplanned. I never left your hands, never left your plan. Was never unplanned. I never left your hands.
Mom and Dad, I know it hurts right now, but don't let the past shape your future. You've got your whole life ahead of you. God's already forgiven you. If you can just find the strength now and forgive yourself, I love you, and I'll see you up here soon.
I was never unplanned. It was not your plan for me. I was never unplanned. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I was never unplanned. I never left your hands, never left your plan. Was never unplanned. I never left your hands.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. So please don't take my sunshine away.
Hey guys, Melanie here at Vision City. I'm really excited to share something special with you guys today. So that's why I've decided to come on and to create this video. I'm actually coming on to announce a really special song that my husband Chris is launching today. It's called Plan For Me. And the reason why I'm coming on here and wanting to share this personally with you is because I'm actually singing on the chorus. I am not a singer at all, so the fact that I'm singing on a song is kind of crazy and kind of exciting all at the same time. I want to just shout out our producer Doug Weir and Chris's co-writer Trevor McNeven from TFK, because these guys just make magic. They're amazing at what they do, and somehow they convinced me to sing on this song. But I want to share that story with you and also share kind of the backstory as to why this song is so important for us right now in our culture, and why I would sing on a song in general. And it's because I'm really passionate about the topic of the song. So I guess I should kind of start this kind of story and give you a little bit of a personal side of things, that this is not something I would normally share on social media. I really wrestled with this, but I've decided to share it with you guys. So I hope that you'll receive it with kindness, and yeah, just hear me out. So my husband and I have been, we are parents to a 5-year-old little girl who we adore, and we have been in the process of trying to conceive baby number 2. And it's been a process because things have not gone according to plan, straight up. They just haven't. And so it's been a really quite a process. We had one pregnancy that happened about 6 months in. We were thrilled and we thought, awesome, you know, this is wonderful. We're so thankful. And then without any warning, actually the day after I saw the heartbeat, we miscarried, and I was in the emergency room miscarrying. And I'll never forget the shock of that feeling and just the crazy emotions of that. I think I was just in shock for like a week, and then I finally felt all the emotions later, which I find sometimes happens with grief. And that's kind of what happened there. And then we continued to try for a while longer, and then we actually went through the process of doing in vitro. Now, I know this is getting like, whoa, like really personal. So again, if you're watching this and you're like, this is not what I signed up for, I don't want to know any more about your personal life, then that's okay. You don't have to keep watching. But it does bear in mind the context of why I did this song. So we're going through this process. And by the way, in vitro is a fertility treatment that women can go through. I won't go into any more details. If you want to look into in vitro, I would just say Google it. That would probably be the best way to get the most clear, accurate description of what it is. While I was going through this process, I would have to go into the clinic almost every day, about 30 minutes away from our home. So it was like early morning visits to this clinic. I was giving blood. I had to do like ultrasounds. There's all kinds of different things and procedures you have to go through. It's very tedious, and frankly, it was emotional, but I'm really thankful that I had a lot of support. I had friends, family, people around me supporting me, so that made all the difference. And frankly, I was praying every day. I'm somebody of faith, so I was praying through it. I was filling myself up with scriptures. I was thinking, faith thoughts and trusting God. And so during this whole process, I'd be driving back and forth to this clinic every day. And ironically, my husband at the time was working with Trevor from TFK, and they were working on writing this song, Plan for Me. And I remember hearing bits and pieces of it as it was going along, like I normally do. And I'd be like cooking in the kitchen, and I'd be hearing little snippets of it as it was happening. And I remember my husband came to me one day. He's like, "You're not going to believe this, but we need a singer. We need a girl to sing on the song." And right away, I started to like name girls that I know that are like incredible singers. Like, what about this person? What about that person? He's like, "Well, Trev has an idea, and he wants to know if you'll sing on it." I'm like, he knows I can't sing. Like, what is he talking about? Me and my husband laughed our heads off, and I was like cooking something at the time, and I literally laughed out loud. And so while I was driving back and forth, and you have to keep in mind, I'm going to a clinic with women who are trying to conceive, and the whole, context of that is an emotional journey in itself. I'm hearing really emotional stories every day as I meet different women. I'm talking to different people, hearing their kind of journeys. And the song that Trevor and Chris were writing was about abortion, or is about abortion. Again, really hard topic, right? I was just like, wow, so many thoughts, so many emotions about it. As I was driving back and forth to this clinic, I was like, I can't sing on this song. Like, first of all, I'm a bit emotional right now. I can't handle talking about abortion or something so heavy while I'm doing this process. But the more I thought about it, the more I started to feel like, well, what if I just started to hum the song? Because Trevor kind of sent over the chorus. Just here's what I'm thinking, try it out kind of thing. And I remember being like, well, do I care about this topic? Is this something I think is really important? And the answer was a resounding yes. And so I started to kind of hum the song. Then I started to kind of try to sing the song. And I'm literally laughing at myself in the car, like, this is so bad. But I sang it into my phone, and I just sent it back to Chris. I said, here, send this to the guys. They can all have a good laugh, and we can move on. Well, the guys come back, and they're like, you know what? You're not too far off. So anyways, make a long story short, over the course of the next about week, we went back and forth. And this is while I'm doing in vitro, okay? So we went back and forth trying to get me to sound the right way, basically, because I'm, again, not a singer, never sung a day in my life. So we finally get to the point where I have kind of gotten ready enough to sing in the actual studio. And so it's the day I'm walking towards the studio. Literally at that exact moment was the moment I got the call from the clinic, giving me the news on whether or not this entire in vitro process worked or not. So I'm picking up my phone, I'm answering it, and I'm expecting to hear good news, or to at least hear that we're moving in the right direction. And instead, I hear the technician say, it didn't work, and you're gonna have to start again. Call your doctor to discuss further details and, further steps. And I remember looking at my phone like, did he just say it didn't work? Like, what? I was in shock. And I remember sitting down, and Chris could tell on my face that everything was not okay. And he said, it didn't work, did it? And I said, no. And I bawled my eyes out, and he did too. And we just sat on the floor for a while and let it out. And it sucked, okay? I'm just going to tell you that right now. It was a hard moment. And honestly, just thinking about it now, it was hard. In this process of going back and forth to this clinic and hearing so many stories of devastation of women who have been trying to conceive for years, and now here we are writing a song and singing a song about abortion, I was just like, the clashing of two worlds was just so real at that moment. My husband, Chris, was like, look, you don't have to sing on this song. You need to just take the day and kind of chill out and let this, process this news. And I remember standing up and just saying to him, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right now. Because I actually feel more fire now. Because now it's like at that moment, it hit me, the actual value of every life, the actual miracle that every single life is, hit me so hard right then. And so I got up, I sang a couple of times. I think we did it a couple of takes, and that was it. And then Chris sent it off, and that is what you hear on the song. So again, I encourage you to listen to the song, and I really hope that it blesses you and encourages you, inspires you to maybe think about things in a new light, a new direction. This song is definitely unabashedly pro-life. I am pro-life, my husband is pro-life, and our hope is to first of all, not to be judgmental of those who have had abortions, because maybe you're watching this and you're like, I've had an abortion. Maybe it's something that maybe haunts you. Maybe it's something that you're fine with. Everyone has their own feelings about it. If you listen to the lyrics, if you listen to the actual sound of it, you'll notice that it's very redemptive. It's very uplifting, and it's something that will, I'm hoping, bring a sense of redemption to this area of your life. We really believe that God's arms are always wide open to us, no matter whether we do things that he may or may not agree with. At the end of the song, there's a surprise that I want you to listen in for. I'll let that be a bit of a surprise, but I encourage you to listen to the very end. And I hope that it really encourages you. Before all of this kind of began, I was always somebody that would say I would be pro-life in general, So about a few months back, my husband and I really began to do some more research about this topic. We really felt like we wanted to add our voice to it. And I know it sounds kind of ignorant now, and it is ignorant, but I felt like I don't really need to watch films or watch movies about it or read books about it because I already know my position. But that was actually ignorant, now I realize, because there's so much I didn't know about abortion. The first film we watched is a documentary called Hush, and it's actually put on by a woman who is pro-choice. And it's really from her perspective, and she really sought out doctors and different clinics and different things, trying to find answers to whether or not abortion has any impact on a woman's physical health after the fact, or mental health. So things like infertility later in life, or cancer, breast cancer, things like that. She wanted to find out whether or not abortion in any way increased the chances of these things. In the process of watching this film, I was astounded at how much I had never heard before. And I'm a woman, I'm 38 years old. You think that by now, just in general in culture, I would have known more about abortion, but I didn't. And I think a lot of women, especially women who are going through that process, they feel like they're in a position where they need to have an abortion. They are not being told all the information. And so I encourage you to check out Hush. And it's not some propaganda movie. It is actually made by a woman who's pro-choice and is still pro-choice. So it actually gives you a good perspective of both sides of it. That movie is not at all a pro-choice or pro-life movie. It's actually just pro-education, pro-health, pro-learn. So I encourage you to check that out. The other movie we watched is the very famous movie that's been blowing up everywhere, and it is just taking over theaters. It's called Unplanned. And it's a story of Abby Johnson, who was the youngest clinic director at a Planned Parenthood. Then she sees an abortion in front of her eyes. She actually is in a room with the technicians and with the doctors, and she has to assist during an abortion. And so the whole film is basically about her life before that moment and her life after that moment, and how that really shifted her perspective. It's an extremely hard movie to watch. Abby goes through abortions herself in the movie, and it is very difficult to watch. There's so much things that are not taught and aren't told to us, especially in an age where women's empowerment is like the thing. But it's shocking how much in this age of women's empowerment that women are not being told the whole truth. And so these are the kind of things that we as a family wanted to bring forward. We wanted to add our voice to it. We don't claim to know every single thing that there is to know about abortion. We're just regular people who are artists and creatives, and we wanted to add our voice to something we're passionate about, and really just offer our hands of support and encouragement to those who have gone through this process, and know that God loves you, and that there's nothing that can separate you from God's love. So if that's something that you've experienced, that there's redemption there, and that God loves you, and that God has healing, and He can heal and restore areas of your life that you never in your million years imagined possible. So that's definitely one of the thoughts and messages we want to definitely bring forward. And for those who maybe have never had an abortion, or who are kind of unsure of how they feel about it, we encourage you to do your research, to not just hear one thing from one source, but to frankly always look for the other side of things. Like maybe if you're pro-life, definitely look on both angles. Like watch Hush. It's put on by a pro-choice woman. I find that was really educational for me. And this is not a political song. This is not about changing laws. This is definitely about addressing a heart issue of how we perceive the lives of these unborn babies. And so with my whole heart, I encourage you to listen to the song. We're getting a really great response to this song so far. Radio is adding it. You're probably going to hear it on the radio. If you want it on your radio station in your local community, then I encourage you to call your radio station and request it. So we're really excited about it. It's coming out today, so you can go on and listen to it everywhere you can hear music. So obviously iTunes and Spotify and all the different channels you can listen to music, but look out for it on the radio as well. And I encourage you to check it out, and I'll talk to you again soon.